You're in for a treat. I'm going to show you something that you might be interested in knowing. Has to do with this screen door. This is kind of like a screen security type door. Now what's the hubbub about one of these? And what do you think I'm going to show you on that? Well, stick around. You might learn something. Now here's what I wanted to show you about this metal screen door, security door. When you close it, let's say if you want your man door to the garage open. Now some people like to do that because if you get some breeze, or if you want the garage door open, you want the back door open, you get a nice cross breeze through here or something like that. Well, that's what they want to do here at this house. Okay, every once in a while they want to open the door and let it air out. Well, once they do that, and if they just leave the screen door closed and locked, let's say, then you see the gap there. See this gap? Look how big it is down there. You know, and along the sides. It may not seem like a big deal, but there's lots of critters out here that they don't like to have get in the garage. Mainly in the summer, we talking snakes. Little snakes, rattlesnakes, baby rattlesnakes, gopher snakes, lizards, you know, that kind of stuff. And people around here get paranoid about leaving their doors open, their garage doors open, and stuff like that because of all that. So that's what I'm going to try to do, is put some weather stripping around there. And I went to the store and I looked to see about the gap here, and I did a little bit of measuring and stuff, and see the gap's not the same all the way up. And so I got some different sizes at the store, and I may only use one size, or I might use both sizes, who knows. Or I might end up looking at it and getting into it and finding out I need a different size. You know, there's at least 4 different thicknesses of weather stripping you can get that you can tape on here. Okay, I found 1/8 inch, 3/16, 1/4 inch. Well, there's 3 right there, and then 3/8, and also 1/2 inch. Well, I got the 3/8 and the 1/2 inch. I'm kind of curious as to how that's going to go on there and what we can do about this. Okay, so that is the project. Now, do you have to do this on all metal screen security doors? No. If you just are using this and you're always going to have your back door closed, let's say, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, but if you want, stick around and you'll see how I put the weather stripping up. And even down here, see this piece of wood trim? They ended up putting that because there was a big gap there, and that could allow little mice or anything up and jump up right up underneath the screen, the metal door. Now, they could have lowered this, but you know, not very much, because they made this flush with the head. Now, had they lowered it a little bit more, you'd then have to look at these handles and make sure they don't hit those handles. And yeah, you could have maybe lowered this a little bit, but then the bolts, these big huge bolts, wouldn't have been attaching anything. So see, that was pretty much as low as they could go. They should have made this door just a hair longer, but I mean, certain applications maybe it wouldn't have fit, you know. So you always got to look at stuff and make a decision as to whether or not you want it sealed up all nice and tight as a bug in a rug. Now here's the weather stripping I found at the store. Now see this stuff here, it's 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch by 10 feet long, and it's gray. Now they have it in white, and they also I think you can get it, sometimes you can get it in black or dark brown, whatever color your door jamb is or anything like that. Maybe you can get something to match. Okay, now this one here is 3/8 by 1/2 inch by 10 feet. And isn't that generally the case? You want to weather strip an entire door, and of course you can't do it in one little roll, can you? You never can. You always got to buy two. So I ended up buying 2 of the 3/8 and 2 of the 1/2 inch because I wasn't sure what I was going to use. Then whatever I don't use, I can always take back. You know, always get whatever you think you need to finish your project so you don't have to run back and forth to the store. You know, just take it back at the end. That's the best way. Now, like I said, you can get this an 1/8 inch, and even this is 1/2 inch wide, this stuff here. But you can get some stuff that's less than 1/2 inch wide. So just look at the store. They've got all kinds of weather stripping. And you just peel off the back and it sticks on one side. So you don't, you know, nothing fancy about it. Use some scissors or something. I don't have any scissors here. I've got just some little tin snips, and I'm going to use that. Okay? Let's get her done. Let's close this door here and see. You see this gap right here? That's what we want to cover. And it looks like about the same gap all the way down. And if I take my tape measure here, look at that, and it's close to a 1/2 inch. Okay? Now, and I look up here, and that's about a 1/2 inch, just shy of a 1/2 inch. But then you can see up here it kind of tapers in. It's like the door is kind of bowed or something, and it's less than 1/2 inch up here. Okay, but I'm gonna have to just stick with the 1/2 inch and close the door, and if I have to, I can trim that up at the top with the sheetrock knife, you know, maybe from up here down to about there. You know, and at first glance you might think, okay, that's 1/2 inch weather stripping. Well, look at your weather stripping before you open your bags and stuff, because the 3/8 weather stripping was a 1/2 inch wide. Okay, and so the 3/8 is actually going to be in here, and that's going to be 3/8 coming out this way, and that's going to be plenty to cover up that little gap, because there's only about an 1/8 inch to 3/16 gap there. And the width of the 3/8 is going to go this way, 1/2 inch. If you get 1/2 inch at the store, obviously that's not going to work, because that's 3/4 of an inch wide, and it would stick out. It would go in this way further, and then you're not going to be able to close your door. So, you know, another reason to just get some different weather strippings, just because once you get home, you might think, oh, I'm going to do it this way instead of that way. Okay? And so when I look at this side here, this side is slightly different, isn't it? Now, I can't really do anything there, so I go on the outside on this one, so I can look at that gap there, right? And I look at that, and it's just right at 3/8, maybe just a hair over, and it's just a hair under 1/2 inch there. But from here down, it's 3/8. So, you know, what I could do is I could go 3/8 from here down with the little piece, and then from here up to there I could go 3/8 if I wanted, and then this last little bit I could do 1/2 inch, you know, because I've got two different sizes with me. So is there a right or wrong way to do this? No, just do it however you need to. Now if you try to put 1/2 inch up there and you think, oh, that'll be fine, when this door closes it's going to mash into the weather stripping, but weather stripping is kind of stout stuff once you get it installed and you've got that whole gap covered. You might find if you put 1/2 inch on that whole thing, maybe it kind of puts a little bind on your door. Eventually it might kind of press into the weather stripping and make its own little contoured identification, indent into the weather stripping, you know what I mean? But right here I think there's going to be too much force, and I don't want to do that. I'm just looking to fill this gap up anyways. I don't have to have it pressed so tight. It's not like I'm trying to keep this air tight because the screen has holes in it. I just want the gap filled up. This is a little bit different than a wood door. If this was a wood door, I wouldn't want just necessarily 3/8 there, would I? Because that's not going to give me a tight seal. Then I might have to go with, maybe they have 7/16 at the store, or 1/2 inch. I'd try 1/2 inch and kind of push it in there and leave the door shut for a couple of days so it kind of presses in and makes it its own identification, indention, so to speak, you know. So different ways to do things. All right, then I'll have to get up there and measure that, and I'm not quite sure what to do with that just yet, because that's less than 3/8. It's about 5/16, because you know, if I put it up there, the 3/8 thick, then the screen door might not close, right? I may, at the top, I may have to decide what to do with that. I might have to go back to the store and get 1/4 inch just for this one piece, you know, or something. Now it's about 3/8 right there, and over on this side it is almost 3/8. So, you know, I don't know if it's going to fit in there or not. Maybe I can try it or shave it off or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, I'm glad I checked that. You know, I might not even need the 1/2 inch insulation at all, the weather stripping. I just go with the 3/8 for this one side and this other side over here, and I got plenty now because I got 2 bags of it, right? Here's another thing to be aware of on these security doors. You've got these screws here. They're you can only tighten them up. You can't loosen them up. But when you look at those, before you start putting weather stripping on here, make sure that where the screw is, it's tight there, and you don't have a gap. Like this screw here, there was about 1/8 of an inch gap. I didn't think I could screw it in anymore, and I did. And son of a gun, it sucked right in tight. Because had I not done that, had I put the insulation on there first, then later on try to screw this, it would want to have mashed the insulation weather stripping right up tighter, and would have been kind of difficult. See, this one here looks like there's a gap, but really there's not. It's the stucco or the wood, because see, on the wood over here it's tight, so I couldn't do anything with that. It's just the trim looks a little funky down there. Okay, so I tighten those up, and I'm ready to put the insulation on. I call it insulation. It's weather stripping. Aight.